If you want to get rich, the time-tested way to get rich is levered long property. Aliens come down with the, space alien cyber virus, and they hate the human race, and they decide that the best thing in the human race is Bitcoin, and they try to kill it. The insane beauty of the Bitcoin network is it is the world's greatest free market, maybe the greatest free market of anything. Look, if you're a mega billionaire, if you're Warren Buffett, I guess it's not really that important to him. But I think if you're middle class, like if you like money, if you want money, there's nothing more important. It's the future of money. Money, me defining money as long-term store of value. I mean, you're not going to get rich by holding currencies in your pocket. You ought to minimize the amount of currency you hold. But if you want to get rich, the time-tested way to get rich is levered long property. You buy scarce, desirable property, and that will preserve your wealth. The way you preserve your wealth is you buy scarce, desirable property. The way you get wealth, the way you create wealth, is you borrow the money from the bank to buy the property. So rich families, it's like, I'm going to buy $1 billion of real estate, but I don't have the billion. So I managed to figure out how to borrow 900 million. And then I went and I raised another 70 million in equity, and I got a 30% promote. And I ended up, when the dust settled, with 30% of $10 billion worth of real estate. And I made $3 billion because, I got highly levered. So I think finding a way to get scarce, desirable property and lever into it is how you get rich. If you want to stay rich, then you want to buy something that's going to appreciate faster than the monetary inflation rate after taxes. And that means that's why you can't store capital in bonds, because no bonds will give you more than the inflation rate after taxes. That means that your best bet is, you pick the next NVIDIA, but, good luck, right? It's like you got to pick one out of 500. Maybe you grab a, portfolio of Mag 7 stocks, and maybe you can beat. But otherwise, if you're not going to do that, then Bitcoin is the best idea. Look, I think Bitcoin is plus 60% a year for the past 4 years. The S&P is plus 5%. The Mag 7 is like plus 25 to 30%. This is not complicated rocket science. The monetary inflation rate, it feels like it's 10% to me. So, should you, if you don't care about money, then I guess it doesn't matter. But if you care about money, if you want more, or you want to keep the money you have, the hurdle rate, for practical purposes is 10%. And the conventional approach is you buy S&P 500 index and you beat it by a little bit. And then real estate's not that good, because with real estate, you're probably growing less than the 15%, and you're getting property tax. And the property tax is a killer for you over time.
Michael Saylor, Bitcoin's either going to 0 or 1 million. What if you're wrong about the million? What could go wrong in general that takes it to 0 realistically?
I guess aliens come down with the, space alien cyber virus, and they hate the human race, and they decide that the best thing in the human race is Bitcoin, and they try to kill it. I rather think that they'll probably just zap us all, before they bother to kill Bitcoin. Some extinction level event, like this. You're on a ship. What could go wrong with your family? Oh, the ship could sink, I guess, rapidly. I mean, the Titanic level, extinction level event. An asteroid could hit the Earth. I mean, that's what took out the dinosaurs. So, I would acknowledge that you could have an existential threat or extinction level event. But that's the case with everything that you can possibly own. I mean, that's an argument for not crossing the street. That's an argument for not putting food in your mouth. That's an argument for not drinking. And that's an argument for not owning anything. It might poison you, or it might collapse to 0. But beyond that, I think most of the turbulence in the future is just political volatility. It's like, the Chinese are going to block it. Oh, that's bad. Oh, the Chinese are going to embrace it. That's bad. Oh, the Chinese didn't block it. That's bad. Oh, the Chinese, it's like people speculating about what the Chinese will do, what the Russians will do, what the government will do. And that causes, they're going to raise the interest rates. That's bad. They're going to lower the interest rates. That's bad. It'll be, the entire asset is very exposed to macroeconomic volatility. I think it's a feature. I think it's what makes it the greatest asset in the world. But there are a lot of people that don't like volatility and they would just like everything to be smooth and calm and easy. They're always going to perceive it as a little bit scary. I think that we're beyond the point where it's going to fail. It didn't fail. It succeeded. Is it going to be banned? No. Right? The big three is, will it be hacked? Will it be banned? Will it be copied? And the answer is, it hasn't been hacked. It isn't getting banned. It has been copied, but it's winning. It's the best copy, right? It was a copy of other stuff that came before it. It was a bit better. And other people have copied it, but the copies have been deemed a bit worse. The smart money in the world has decided this is the winner. It's like the economic protocol for prosperity. Why do you speak English? Because it's the language protocol for prosperity. Why do you use base 10 math? Why do you use Zoom right now, right? Why do you use the internet, right? Theoretically, the internet could stop, Zoom could stop, I could change to Chinese. I could, theoretically, but the point is, it's the protocol chosen by all the people on the planet to go about their business. They didn't have to choose English. It could have been French. That might have been decided at Waterloo or a bit before that, right? Could have been Latin. Didn't work out that way, right? It works out to be English. So I think at this point, if you think of it as a protocol, it's like, well, what if people stop using 10 and 9 and the number 8? What if they start using base 16? It's like, well, I'm building my computer programs on base 10. But what if they switch to Swahili and use base 32? Because I read somewhere it's better. It's like, yeah, well, maybe, but right now the entire world thinks this one is better, and we'll use this one because all the smart rich people use this one. And when all the smart rich people decide to move to a different protocol, at least I'll be rich and I can move my money to the new protocol with them. Right? And so that's why Bitcoin is winning. That's why it makes sense to be invested in it.
Let's talk about Wall Street now getting involved in Bitcoin and crypto. And here's the thing, Michael, don't even try and deny it. Wall Street is known to manipulate markets. When they get long, they get loud. When they want a better price, they start propagating uncertainty. Now that Wall Street is in, and they're increasingly getting more in, do you think Bitcoin's price is being manipulated by big Wall Street whales?
I think when the price moves in random directions on Saturday night or Sunday morning or during the day, and when it moves in the opposite direction of the way that it ought to naturally move, I think there's someone with a lot of capital that's either panicked and they're doing something that I deem to be stupid or foolish, or I think there's someone with a lot of capital that has a different agenda than the rest of us, and we don't understand it, and that creates volatility. I don't think it's just Wall Street. I mean, the truth is, Bitcoin's just a free market. It's the freest market in capital in the world. And the definition of free market is anybody can manipulate it any way they want until they run out of money. So if you have $100 billion of Bitcoin and on Saturday night you want to sell all $100 billion of Bitcoin all the way down to 1 penny, maybe you can do it. And maybe you have an agenda to do it. I'll probably be buying it when it gets down to the 1 penny, maybe when it gets to the $1. I mean, if you want to call it manipulation, you can, but I wouldn't refer it to manipulation as much as enable. It's enabling you to do it, right? Bitcoin's volatile. It's always going to be more volatile than the S&P. The S&P's vol 15 and Bitcoin's vol 60. It's always more volatile, but the reason it's more volatile is because if you had $1 billion and you were in Japan on Saturday night and you just had a panic attack and decided the world's going to plunge into chaos, and if you wanted to take a $10 billion or a $100 billion short position on the economy, the only way you could do it was Bitcoin. But Bitcoin would give you not just the ability to short the market, it would give you the ability to short the market in 1 minute. It would give you the ability to short the market with 100x leverage or 50x leverage or 20x leverage. Okay. The truth is on Wall Street, normally you can't even short more than 2x. Like it's very difficult for people to get extreme leverage. I guess in the CME market, they get a bit more leverage in the future. So there they can bring more leverage. But I mean, Bitcoin is really providing everybody in the world with the greatest degree of liquidity and leverage and credit. And maybe you're a fool to short it, but maybe you're a fool to go long the other way. But the point is, that's what makes markets. Everybody's got their opinion, and you might think that you know better, but if somebody wants to panic sell $1 billion of Bitcoin on Saturday night because they heard that missiles got launched because they saw it on X from a stupid troll account, your position is either you're not allowed to do it, I'm going to censor the transaction because you're just not allowed, and I'm the God King of capital markets, or your position is you're free to do what you want. I think it's stupid of you. There's a phrase, a fool and his money are soon parted. If you're stupid enough to sell $1 billion based on a troll account because you saw a meme and there was no missile strike, or maybe there was, but it didn't matter, you're just going to lose the money. You won't have the money. And so the market gets smarter. And what I would say about all this volatility and all this trading is the very intelligent capitalists that make the right trades are getting richer and more powerful and more influential. And the really stupid capitalists that make the wrong trades are getting poorer and they're getting less powerful, right? And they're becoming irrelevant. And the marketplace is much more complicated than you or I or any regulator or anybody on the face of the earth. And the real beauty, the insane beauty of the Bitcoin network is it is the world's greatest free market, maybe the greatest free market of anything. I mean, I wonder, is there any product in the world that is traded globally 24/7, 365 in multi-billion dollar components where everything is connected to everything all the time? I mean, you can't short Manhattan real estate. You can't short gold. You can't trade iPhones. Like you can't panic sell 1 billion iPhones on Saturday night because you think Apple's going under, and you can't, roaring kitty buy 10 million iPhones on Sunday morning. And so I don't know that there's another free market to buy and sell things with or without leverage at any point anywhere that's greater than Bitcoin. So I just think Wall Street is just one of the actors, but if they do stupid stuff, if they manipulate. See, the thing is, you can manipulate the price of a stock at 4 p.m. in the evening and knowing that no one's going to touch it until 9:30 the next day. You can't really do that with Bitcoin because if you manipulate the price of the stock at 4 p.m., it's going to trade another 6 hours. So if you manipulated it down, you would be the loser because people would be buying it cheap, in Japan and China and Europe while you're asleep. And then you're going to wake up and you're going to find that you're naked short and you've lost your shirt. So I think this is a game for adults. And, maybe they short it and they buy it back. And maybe you don't like the fact that they shorted 1 billion in the morning and bought back 1 billion in the afternoon. But a free market person would say, hey, they created liquidity. And because they created liquidity, it trades 10x as much as it would otherwise trade. And because it trades 10x as much, that means that you can actually extract $1 billion in 5 minutes instead of $1 billion in 5 months. Right? It's like, you ever see a gyroscope? I'm spinning the gyroscope really fast, and you're like, well, wait a minute, it's not going anywhere. What's the point of spinning a gyro really fast if it doesn't move? I mean, because the answer is stability, right? It creates enormous stability. We use it in inertial navigation system. And so all of this stuff going on in the market, which could be characterized by a hater or a skeptic as manipulation, it's capitalist trading with an agenda that's different than yours or mine based on their local knowledge.